Hi you guys, I'm here to talk to you about neutral pelvis and the alignment of your legs in standing positions. So neutral pelvis is a thing that we try to use in Pilates as much as we can to maintain the natural curves of your spine and keep the pelvis stable as we work the muscles around it. There's some different cues we use to find that place, so I'm just going to lay that all out for you here. First thing we're going to do is lay on your back, supine. So you're going to lay down nice and slow with your knees bent and your feet about 7 to 10 inches from your tail. You're going to start by just doing some pelvic rocks. So you're going to pull the belly down and flatten the low back, and then you're going to release that and stick your booty out. Try to make it kind of big, kind of over the top. How far can you go in each direction? Some of our pelvises go really far, and some not so much. But I want you to find those two extremes that you can go to so that we know it's neither of those. Then I want you to take your hands and place them on your pelvis. Put your thumbs at your belly button and your fingers at your pubic bone and feel them shift up and down. Now, find the happy medium between those two extremes. When you think you're at your happy medium, the hands should be flat. If the fingers are up too high, it means you're smushing your low back down, and I need you to let that go. And if your thumbs are too high, it means you're arching your back, and I need you to even that out as well. So take your head up. Do your hands look flat? If so, great. You found your neutral. From here, I do want an engagement of the belly and a pulling down of the navel to spine. But when you do that, I don't want it to affect your back. So just because you squeeze your belly in does not mean your spine changes. There should be a little bit of space under that low back. Again, some of ours are bigger than others depending on the shapes of our spine and our glutes, but all of us are individual, so just see where it works for you and where this area is flat. From there, you'll be able to move and do all of our actions without shifting or moving around in that pelvis. That's the goal we're working on. That's how you find it in supine. Lying on your side, we're going to want you to keep your arm flat underneath your head. This is so the neck is in line with the spine. If we get like this, there's many issues that can arise. People drop into their shoulders, and I don't want to worry about that. So I want you to lay down flat. So again, that neck and spine are all in one long line. From there, the shoulders and the hips need to be stacked. So for a lot of us, that means this shoulder needs to pull under slightly, so it's directly under the top. The hips as well need to be stacked one on top of the other. Sometimes that means you have to pull the top hip long towards the heels, and that's going to help create this little space. Some of us call it the bunny hole, some of us call it the mouse house, all kinds of different names. No matter what, it basically means there's a little space right here. We're going to use that bottom oblique and engage it and lift, keeping the ribs knit tight. And that's how I know you're structured in the pelvis. If you were dropped here, your pelvis could tilt, arch, any range of things it can do. So we really just want to lift and engage. And think of almost like your body, your upper body being through two planes of glass. And again, whatever actions we do, you're going to work to keep this stable. If you need to keep your hand here to make sure you're in the correct position, that's totally fine. Don't kill your mouse and smush it down. Keep it lifted. In prone or on your tummy, you're going to think of reaching the tailbone down towards your heels. A lot of us naturally just release and compress into the low back. Instead, I want you to take your pubic bone, push it into the floor. Take your tailbone, reach it back to the heels, and then lift the navel up off the floor. So you've got a really deep engagement in the abdominal wall. Then you're stable in the pelvis. And then whatever we do around that, the pelvis stays in that place. Lastly, I'm going to talk about standing alignment. When you're in your standing position, we really want to make sure your hips, knees, and toes are tracking properly. So first of all, whenever we're in parallel, I want the heels under your hips. A lot of people might go too wide or even too narrow. You want to find that happy medium, usually about 6 inches. We're all different, but again, you want to think under the hips. From there, when you bend your knees, they should go right over the second toe in a forward direction. Depending on the structure of your legs, Some of us might tend to drop in if you're a little knock-kneed, or tend to drop out if you're a little bow-legged. It could also be muscle imbalances that are going on. So I really want you to think and concentrate on sending that kneecap right over the second toe as you bend and as you press. It's totally okay if you need to look down every once in a while and check, but then bring your posture back up. I'd always rather you look down and make sure you're doing it right than have your knees going all wonky in the wrong directions. Same thing in all positions. When we're in Pilates V, or first position for your dancers, same thing. I want those knees opening right over the second toe. So there will be some engagement in the back body, wrapping back those femur bones. But I don't want you to take it to the extreme. Some of us are able to open really far, but I don't want you to be opening farther than you can extend the knees. If your knees are knocking forward, you need to close up that V position. Second position, same thing. It's harder in this position to get your knees to open back because it takes a little more flexibility. So again, if you're kneeling down and you have those knees going forward, you might need to turn your feet in a little bit to get that knee to track over the second toe in all positions. Same rule is going to apply in single leg. It'll be harder, but you just have to really concentrate on that knee tracking over the second toe. I like to think of a lift coming from either side of the ankle, on both sides lifting up and in, and taking that energy up through my pelvic floor as I go down and up. The heel really helps. The more you draw down through that heel, the more it's going to help you feel that lift and that traction for the knee. Lastly, for your lunge position, it's the same idea. You're going to really make sure that knee is tracking over the second toe as you're taking the hips back. In addition, I want you to make sure your hips don't splay open. We're going to work on squaring those hips forward, pulling the front legged hip back and the back legged hip forward. We don't want the knees to splay out, and we don't want to shift to either side. So in order to not do that, we're going to draw everything up the midline. Those inner thighs are going to work, the pelvic floor is going to work, and we're going to squeeze and engage the core to keep everything really pulling inward. Those are my cues for you. Grace is coming with another video. Enjoy the challenge, you guys.